Welcome to another episode of the Elevated Barbers Podcast. My name is Bradford Kelly, aka the business-minded barber, and the special co-host of the one, the only Elevated Barbers Podcast. And I'm here with...
This is Delmar, aka the Prince, owner of Royal Luxe Grooming, and the co-host of the one and only Elevated Barbers Podcast.
Before we start the show, we have to introduce our next guest. And before we bring him up, we have to let you know that this guy is he nationwide? No, he's international. I think he's international. And you guys are going to want to stay tuned because today we are going to go deep into the purpose of selling, the mindset that you need to have behind being able to sell something inside your business as a barber. So stay tuned.
1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, we are here and we want to bring up our special guest with no hesitation. Let's bring up our man, Ivan Zoot.
Supposed to do this? One and only? Are we supposed to do that?
You don't have to.
One and only. You don't have to. We're going with it, though.
The one, the only, Ivan Zoot. How are you doing, sir?
I am well. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. This has been a long-awaited day. I've been trying personally to get Ivan Zoot on the channel for quite some time now, but as I said in the opener, this man is almost intergalactic. He's not just national. He almost isn't just international. He's almost intergalactic. He's probably visited Mars or something like that, doing special events. But Ivan, go ahead and introduce yourself for those that may not know you.
Well, for those that don't know me, where you been? What are you paying attention to? No, yeah, I'm Ivan Zoot. I'm from Chicago. Been in the business about 35 years. This is my 36th year in the beauty and barber business. And at this point in my career, my business is focused on helping cosmetologists and barbers who are focused on building their business in the men's grooming industry, helping them achieve their goals and do great things. So got a lot going on. I've appeared at all the shows around the country. I've got an online academy. I've written books. I'm on social. People know where to find me, but if you don't, it's ivanzoot.com. Google my name. It's all out there. And you can learn more and reach out and let me help you. That's what we're here for.
Absolutely.
He been in the industry as long as I've been alive.
That's facts. That's facts. But one of the cool things about Ivan that a lot of people don't know, sometimes he shares it, but a lot of times he kind of goes into the present day, is his introduction into the industry was actually through the salon side. So
yeah, I did start out with a cos license, got a barber license after that. But you know, even from the very beginning, had a heavy focus on short hair, men's hair, clipper work and things like that. And it just naturally was a progression.
Yeah. Now, did you grow into this industry from something else? Was your family involved in it? How did you enter?
Well, what I like to tell people is my dad was a dentist. And if you go back far enough, barbers pulled teeth.
Yep.
So on that fact alone, I'm going to claim second generation status. It may not be legit, but I'm going to take it. But no, my family was not in the business. I graduated high school. I went to college part-time while living at home, a local community college here, got out of school, got a job in a business in an industry that I wasn't particularly interested in. I didn't particularly enjoy, but I made a lot of money, which doesn't make up for not enjoying what you're doing. But I had a customer who used to buy from me who owned a hair salon. And I used to hang out, spend some time, talk to him, learn a little bit about his business, and became very intrigued at what I believed to be, what has later proven to be true, the incredible opportunity that the beauty and barber business represents for an individual who wants to roll up their sleeves and get busy in the United States of America. I say this many times at shows and classes. If you look out your front window in the United States of America, in the beauty and barber business, the streets are still paved in gold and the earth is covered, and it's simply up to you to figure out how you're going to get yours.
Yeah, and that's so true. When you think about, I love the fact that the barber and the beauty industry, Delmar, I know you can speak to this a lot, is the fact that you can create the success that you want to see. At the end of the day, it's going to be up to you. In the classes that I speak about, I say that, you know, as an entrepreneur, you're going to be able to own the risk and the reward of your own effort. So if you're willing to put in the work, as Ivan said, then you are going to be able to reap the results of what you do. So Delmar, go ahead and speak to some of that, because you've been in the game for a long time yourself.
Yeah, it's like you said, man, it's pretty much up to you how successful you're gonna be. And like you said, it's both sides of that. You have to own up to your success as well as your failures. And I started off just like Ivan on the cosmetology side, but I always had a passion and a heart for barbering and clipper work. And man, I got into the game and it wasn't looking too good for me, but I was determined to succeed by any means necessary. I didn't have any plan B. I didn't have a backup plan. Like, this is what I went to school for, and it had to work. So I put all my time, effort, and energy into trying to make this work. And that was, it's a lot of hard work, but anything that's worth having, you have to put the work in. You have to grind. And then Ivan knows that as well. Being in the industry for 30 years, it's still probably a grind because, you have to stay on top of things as far as your education goes, and, who you're speaking to, who's your target audience, what type of customer that you want to attract. So it's just so many different directions you could go in with the barber and beauty industry.
Yeah, you know what? There's always some young whippersnapper that's looking at you that wants a piece of your game, that's nipping at your heels. And I always say it's hard to hit a moving target. So I am constantly innovating. I'm constantly exploring new and different things. And you don't know where I'm going next. So if you're trying to copy me, you're in trouble. And that's been how I've kind of stayed ahead of the game. I will touch on something though. I recently finished through most of the fall sharing a class called 10 Things I Know for Sure About the Beauty and Barber Business. And I know some stuff and there's some stuff I don't know. I'm, readily willing to admit that, but there's 10 things I know for sure. And I just want to mention 2 of them because you guys touched on it a little bit. One of the things we talked about in this class is 2 things. Number 1, there is no economy. And number 2, there is no market. When people talk about, the economy's good, the economy's bad, the economy, you choose your own economy. You make your own economy. The economy is not something that is created in Washington, D.C. and pushed on you or given to you. In my family, we decide we're going to have a strong economy. And guess what? That's exactly what we have. We have the economy we choose. Other people may be struggling. We're not going to struggle because we're going to take action. We're going to plan. We're going to execute in such a way that our results are something we've crafted. Now, the other side of that is, and I hear this a lot, and this one's critical, because really when it comes to the economy, people like to talk about their market. They say it's not like that in my market. You don't understand my market. And they use the word market. And the truth of the matter is, the market is something you, our listener out there, it's something you made up in your head. There is no market. You yourself are a unique, specific individual offering to the world. You have no competition. No one is you. No one does what you do the way you do it. So when you say, we can't charge that price in my market, what you're really doing is you're simply making an excuse for why you're not successful. Because I promise you, we can get in a car and we can drive to any city in America and we can find busy barber shops and slow barber shops very close to each other. And in that same community, we can find high-priced barbers and we can find budget cutters in the same neighborhood, in the same community. So you are your market. You build your market. You create your market and you choose your economy. And if your listeners get nothing else from this program than that, we ended last year talking about that quite a bit at shows and events.
I remember that.
I think we're going to talk about it more this coming year as well, because it's very, very true. And I made some predictions in the last week or two that if you guys want to talk about today for some things that I think are going to happen in the barber market in 2024, I'm willing to make those predictions on video so that in 2025 we can see if I was right.
Right. I don't mind getting it on record, but I do want to add on to what you were saying, because when you bring up the fact that your limits are mostly going to be in your mind, you have internal limits and you also have external limits, but a lot of the internal limits is your perception of what you can and cannot do. It has to do with even how much money you're willing to spend. I think it's your perception of time. It's your perception of what you think you can and cannot do. And when you don't get your perception right, then you are going to limit your own success. As Ivan was speaking to, there is no particular market, right? You create market by becoming a magnet. If you understand the power that you have, then you can become a magnet for whoever wants to see what you have. So once you learn how to demonstrate, or you learn how to become a magnet for the market that you say you want, then you'll start to attract whoever whoever it is that you put out there. So you have to make sure that you understand who you are and what you provide and what's most valuable about yourself, and then put that out there, because that's what, when we speak about it a little bit more, that's what you're going to be able to sell, is who you really are and what you really do. And once that is readily available for people to see, then you're going to magnetize everybody that's attracted to who you are and what you do. What do you think about that, D?
No, I agree with that wholeheartedly, man, being that I cut in what is considered a smaller market city in Gonzales, Louisiana. And 10 years ago, well, 11 years ago, when I got into the industry in this area, the going rate was 15, 20. And I started to challenge myself. I said, you know what? I'm going to be the barber who charges more, because I saw value in myself and I know how I was presenting myself as a professional barber. So fast forward to 2024, I charge 60 on average. You know what the going rate is now? 40 to 45 plus. Yeah. And it's because I took that leap to set the market. Like, this is what I value myself as. And other barbers started to follow suit, because they say, you know what? It's not about where I'm at. It's about what I'm doing. It's about how I present myself. It's about how I'm marketing myself in this market.
Yeah. Your ability to change the perception of people's perspective of you is all on you. So you have to be able to do that.
Yep. Everything has a market.
Yeah. Like, the market is only made up in your mind. Like Ivan said, like, there is a technical market technically, but there's no literal market. You create it. That was very good, Ivan. So let's go ahead and dive into some of these, like one of these predictions. Let's go and let's pick it apart. Let's see.
I want to know.
All right.
You hear it here first on Elevated Barbers.
Elevated Barbers Podcast, bringing you insights from intergalactic Ivan himself. Let's go.
All right. Well, you got to take a step back, and you got to understand economics, and you got to understand politics in the United States at a slightly bigger or slightly higher level. We are heading into an election year, and as a result, there are going to be decisions made by governments and organizations that impact or attempt to impact the outcome of the upcoming election. I'll give you an example. We have just finished a period of pretty significant inflation, and it relates to the barber business because we've seen significant elevation of haircut prices. And at this point, the economy has slowed a little bit in terms of the inflation, and the economy is strong. The market is very strong. The stock market recently hit a number of highs, and there is talk, politically motivated, that over the 2024 period leading up to the election in November, we're going to see interest rates drop on a number of occasions. Interest rate drops fire the economy. So all predictions are 2024 is going to be financially a very strong and lucrative year. This contrary to some predictions that had been made by some individuals with regards to where we were heading economically. This is a good thing. Yeah. However, here's what I'm predicting for the barber business. Through the period of inflation, we saw rapid escalation in haircut prices. We saw average haircut prices in certain cities, towns, and communities driven up. And what we're currently seeing is we are seeing substantial consumer pushback. We are seeing consumers throw their hands up and go, no way, I will not pay that much for a haircut. No way, your haircut experience is not worth that much money. So here's my prediction, and the reason I believe this is going to happen. The reason consumers are pushing back on price is because a lot of barbers have elevated the price, but have failed to elevate the experience. They have failed to elevate what they are giving at that price. So if you follow along with me, the numbers aren't important, but we'll play along. The guy that was charging 25, he's charging 40, 45 now, but he's still delivering a service and an experience at a $25 level. And all of a sudden, the consumer's pushing back going, hey, wait a minute, why am I paying so much? Or I don't want to pay this much for that. Now, there are also barbers out there who have elevated their price, but who have also elevated the service, quality, the experience, the products, the environment. They've elevated everything along with it. Those individuals will thrive at their new prices. They will attract new business, they will grow new business, and they will build business. But here's my prediction. My prediction is we're going to lose a lot of barbers in 2024. I think the barber market the number of barbers in 2024, without factoring in new graduations from schools, the existing barber market is going to shrink. It is going to contract. And here's why. The barbers that raise the price without raising the game are going to start to drop out of the game. And I know how they're going to drop, and I know what you can look for. If you want to spot this, I'll tell you what to look for. You're going to see barbers quitting the game, and when they leave, they're going to claim something along the lines of, you can't make money in the business today because customers are not loyal. They're going to blame it on the customers, and they're going to claim that it is a lack of customer loyalty.
That is not
And
true.
they're going to be wrong
Yeah,
because they're
of course.
using that as an excuse. It's not customer loyalty, it's customer value. And when customers don't feel they're getting value, they're going to go somewhere else. And what a lot of those barbers don't want to hear, the $45 guy who was giving out a $25 service who started losing customers is going to blame the customers. But you know where the customers are going to be? The customers are going to be at the $50, $55, and $60 guy. They're going to be paying more because the issue is not, I don't want to pay that much for a haircut. The issue is, I don't want to pay that much and get that little.
Yeah.
I don't mind paying more if you give me more. And this is my prediction for 2024.
I love it. I love it because you're speaking to a very hidden secret in the industry. And I think that it needs to be kind of spoken about is the fact that you do have business models in this industry, right? You have the quantity-based business model, you have the quality-based business model, and then you also have the experience-based business model. And when a barber that is choosing to be in the quantity business model tries to go up to what they feel like is experience-based prices, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage because here it is, you're trying to compete in a Honda and you're trying to compete against a Benz. Like that's not, you're going after the wrong market. You're trying to price your Honda at a Benz price, but it's okay to sell a Honda. You just sell more of them, just go and sell more Hondas. And the more that you are okay with who you are as a barber, you have to know your strengths, right? There's certain strengths that people have. Some people are speed cutters. It's no need for them to try and become an experienced business model. Like you don't have to go into that space. Stay in the quantity-based business model because that's where your strength lies, and that also is an experience. There's so many people that want to get cut quick. They're not focused on. You talk about that.
Hey, I love you, my friend, but I do not want to spend 45 minutes in your chair, no matter what.
Yeah, some people are like that.
If it takes you 45 minutes, I will never come back. I don't care what the price is. I don't care how good the haircut is because my life is busy. I want to move on. I've said for years, the simple phrase to remember with this whole concept is respect balance. And what I mean is the balance of what are they paying and what are they getting? I always say, if you charge $25 for a haircut and you deliver a $50 experience, you're going out of business. If you charge $50 for a haircut and you deliver a $25 experience, you're going out of business. You gotta respect the balance of price versus the experience and the expectation. And you're absolutely right. Low price, high volume, high turn works. And high price, low volume, slow turn works. But you gotta respect which category you choose to play in.
And you got to know your strengths for that. Like, because if you're a person that takes time and don't try and be a high volume person. Like, don't focus on really perfecting the art that you desire to create on somebody's head so that you can charge higher prices so that you don't need as many people to come see you so that you can still live the life that you want to live.
I tell people all the time, the only person I want to spend more than 20 minutes with is my wife.
Now, see, I know I'm different, man. Like I'm not a speed cutter. I'm not a speed cutter. I had to learn that about myself though, because when I first got into the industry, Ivan, I was in a quantity model. Like that was the first place that I came into, and so I was pushing cuts out at 20 minutes, sometimes 15 minutes. I was going for it, and I was so uncomfortable. Like every 15, for 20 minutes, I was so uncomfortable. The quality wasn't there because I could see something in my mind that I wasn't able to deliver in the time that I was trying to achieve it in, and it just started to bother me. So I started to slow down even in that space. And so most of my cuts became like 25 or 30 minutes, but I was happier with the quality than it was before that. And there was other barbers that was in that same facility. They was smoking through stuff, but I saw where my strength was. Like I didn't have to compete, like you said earlier, Ivan. You ain't competing against nobody but yourself. You don't got to put yourself up against no other barbers. You ain't trying to be no other barbers. You don't have to follow some other barber's blueprint to success, besides understanding where your strengths are and who can support your strengths.
And you also got to remember, in Ivan Zoot world, 15 minutes, that's actually kind of slow.
Hey, no, because he's a Guinness World Book of Records, man. That's fact. Yeah.
What was the official time, Ivan?
The 3 records I have, fastest haircut in the world, most haircuts in an hour, and the most haircuts in 24 hours nonstop without a break. Originally, the record was 18 haircuts in 1 hour. I did 22 haircuts in an hour to break the record. Somebody broke my record. They did 23 haircuts in an hour. So I did 34 haircuts in 1 hour for the world record. Now, the fastest haircut in the world.
Time out, Ivan. Come on, man.
My hands hurt.
So what kind of cut was this? Like,
all right,
what were you even doing?
Hang on. Fastest haircut in the world. I've broken the record 16 times. Originally, it was 2 minutes, 23 seconds. I did a haircut in 2:09. Somebody got it under 2 minutes. I broke the record at 55 seconds. Now, these were haircuts.
Oh my God.
Stop. Haircuts. I got the certificates on the wall upstairs.
Well, what kind of haircut is it? Like, are you like, was it your cut?
Here's what we got.
Was it Delmar?
These were charity events. They were publicity stunts. We charged money for the haircuts. We gave all the money away. Now, public events, young and old, long and short, black and white, curly and straight, male and female, everybody, line them all up. Now, 18 unique characteristics for judging the haircuts, because if it doesn't meet characteristics, it doesn't qualify. So I'll give you an example. Number 1, got to be a full head of hair. If they're thin in the crown or they're receded, they don't qualify, because less than a full head of hair is less than a haircut. Number 2, you got to take a 1/2 inch off of every hair. So if I show up like this, you can't use me because you can't take 1/2 inch off my hair.
Facts.
Number 3, you got to leave a minimum of 1 inch from the front hairline to the top crown. That rule specifically is to eliminate clipper guard over the top of the head. That's not barbering. That's sheep shearing, and those are not So, 000 even all over is not a haircut. Yeah. All right. Sideburns got to be even. Ears got to be clean. Necklines got to be balanced and symmetrical. If it's hanging length like a lady's cut, it's got to be even. You can't cut it crooked or asymmetric and say that you meant for it to be that way. We had a panel of judges approved by Guinness that check every haircut before, during, and after.
Wow.
Man. Okay.
That's impressive.
What's the dude's name? He got a whole class now. I can't remember his name, but he got a whole hairbender.
Yeah.
So
Angel.
He cut hair in the originator, not Angel, the originator of it. I forgot his
No, the other kid that's with him, but his name is Angel de Solar. He's originally from Spain. He's out of Seattle. Yeah.
So he cuts hair in like 2 minutes. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and what he's doing something a little bit different, because I've participated in his hairbender program. The guy's amazing. The guy's incredibly talented. More YouTube views than anybody. Millions. He's got consumer views, but he does something called condensed cutting. And if you'll notice, most of his haircuts are what qualify as what we would call mid-length. Okay. He doesn't do a lot of fading. He doesn't do a lot of clipper taper work. Works with all different textures, works with different genders, all that. But he works on something called condensed cutting, which is a very cool system, and it's unquestionably efficient. And I have many times on stage, I mean, this past year, almost every show, we were both at these shows, and I mean, he's banging out unbelievable work in 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, it was crazy, Delmar. It was crazy, man. Oh, D, but man, you gonna try and get in a competition with Ivan one day?
Absolutely not.
No, I don't do this anymore.
You don't do it no more? Hey, because I know Breed, is his name Breed Baza? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Breed Baza, he came out with a program where he is showing people how to do 10-minute haircuts.
Oh, is that the guy that I sent you on IG?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 37
you know what? I mean,
cuts
I've got a system that I teach and I share to help people with their efficiency. And what I tell people is, I don't care what you do, I don't care how you do it, I don't care how long you've been cutting. I can give you tips and tricks that will cut your time in half. So if you do 1 hour haircuts, I can get you to 30. If you do 30, I can get you to 15. If you do 15, I can get you to 7.5. However, I will tell you, in commercial circumstance, now these were charity events and publicity stunts. They were fun. This is not business.
Yeah.
This is entertainment. In business, I don't believe anybody should go faster than about 7.5. 8 haircuts an hour is about the maximum at the appropriate price in the right situation. 7, if you could do 7.5 commercially, my record for one day in the shop on Real People, back when I had my shop, was 8.5 hours one day. Real People paying money, 72 haircuts.
Stop!
Oh my gosh,
man, my elbow broke right there. My whole elbow just.
Man, the most I ever did in a 10-hour day was 25. Like 72 in an 8-hour day though.
72 and 8.5.
Ivan, we're gonna call you Ivan Flash Zoot. Ivan the Flash Zoot.
Now, you gotta know a few things here though. Number one, I came up in the chains. So I came up understanding how chain shops operate from a volume perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, I built systems to allow some of things to be done. Number three, this is back in the old days. At this point in my career, I'm never doing this again. I am looking for young, energetic, enthusiastic, passionate professionals who want to break my records, take my job, okay? And if somebody wants to go after this record, I will help you. I will coach you. I will mentor you. I will train you. And if you break the record, I will be clapping louder than your mother.
That's
because
right.
Records are made to be broken. Every 4 years at the Olympics, records fall. Technology advances. Human knowledge and understanding moves forward. Nothing is forever.
Yeah, and you said the fastest one you ever did was 50-something seconds?
55 seconds, start to finish.
That's crazy. I applaud you, though. I applaud you. But that is wild. I'm going to tell you that right now. That was wild.
55 seconds. I'm trying to get the mustache right.
Man, some people's 55 seconds, they still combing and laying it down.
Right.
They still trying to get it all right. Hey, man, but I think that that's powerful. But as you all can tell, Ivan is very passionate as a speaker. He's very convicted with what he speaks about. And when he speaks, he will influence you to believe exactly what he believes. And if you hesitate, then he'll encourage you to go past your hesitations and actually come on board with where he's trying to take you. And one of these things that I wanted to really bring out about your skill set, Ivan, is your ability to sell. And I was really hoping that you could kind of give us a little bit of an insight into why this is so natural for you. Because you can do it in any circumstance for any product. I've seen you be talking about it, something one moment, and then all of a sudden here comes a comb and you're demonstrating how to work a comb. And then you go from a comb to a book, and then you go from a book to and it's like you're always ready, but it never feels forced. It never feels I don't know, overbearing. It's kind of like you're just able to fluidly move through the different things of value that you have for others. And
you don't feel like you're trying to sell.
Yeah, it doesn't really feel like you're trying to sell. So I want to ask you this specific question to help the listeners that are listening, because this skill set is beyond selling product. It's beyond selling a comb or a book. It's the ability for you to be able to sell who you are so that you can reap the seeds that you're trying to plant, like whatever that is. It may be you're trying to get more clients. It may be that you're trying to get into being on hair shows. It may be that you're trying to sell yourself in regards to being an educator. It might be so many different facets that you're doing this in. Ivan, if you don't mind, share with the people how you do what you do when it comes to selling or when it comes to providing value to others.
I thank you very much. much. I'm very kind of you. I've been in sales my whole life, and everything is sales. I've always told my boys, no matter what you end up doing in life, you're really in sales.
Yeah.
In any industry, in any business, everybody's in sales. But with that in mind, the two couple things I want to start with is I firmly believe that I'm not good at selling. What I believe is I believe people are good at buying, and I want to let them do what they want to do. People are good at sniffing out what they want, what they need, what opportunity they're looking for. And with that in mind, recognizing that people are going to be good at making decisions, we're going to do two things. Number one, we're going to lead with the idea, how can I help you? What do you want? Because if you tell me what you want, I probably have a way to help you get there. I probably have a tool or a book or a product that will help you get what you want. So I'm going to start from the perspective, even if it doesn't come right out of my mouth, even if I don't look you in the eye and go, what do you want? We're going to be having a conversation. I'm going to be observing. I'm going to be listening. I'm going to be taking cues, and I'm going to be working on discerning or identifying what exactly it is that you want. And sometimes you'll hear me come right out and say, like, especially as it relates to my books, I've written 14 books. My 15th one comes out late January, early February, but the books are all very different. And one book is on managing money. One book is on new customers. One book is on marketing your shop. So I'll say, how can I help you? What are you looking to do? And once somebody tells me that, well, I know which book is going to be delivering what it is they're looking for. So number one, we're going to lead with, how can I help you?
Yeah.
And then number two, we're going to keep in mind a notion that I learned a very long time ago. Somebody told me, and I'm just going to share it, pass it down. And that is, it's not selling, telling. My role is to provide information. My role is to give you choices, options, and information. Your job is to choose. Your job is to make decisions based on what I give you. So if I take the perspective, I'm not selling, I'm telling. So when I tell you, Big and Bigger are the books that contain marketing programs for growing your business, and they're specifically targeted at owners, managers, renters, or individuals with responsibility. But if I then tell you 100 by 100, this book is about new customers. And this one is for employees. I have an employee edition and an entrepreneur edition, because depending on whether you're an employee or an entrepreneur, you come at your business from a little bit of a different perspective. You want to talk about money? You're making money, you're doing well, but you want to grow your money, manage your money, and make better money decisions? I got a book for that. I got a different book to serve your needs. So when to the outsider, to someone watching me, it might look like I'm selling books, when in fact, what I'm really doing is I'm identifying needs and wants, and then I'm suggesting solutions to problems. And that's really where I'm coming from with that. So I think it's those two things. It is, how can I help you? And, first off, how can I help you? And then secondarily, it's not selling, it's telling. We're providing information in that sense. So when we put those two things together, all of a sudden, it looks like we're a great salesperson. When in fact, I'm just lucky enough to have great customers, because I've got a great industry. I got an industry that I love. I got an industry that I'm passionate and enthusiastic about. I've got an industry that is loaded with opportunity, but I've got an industry that's loaded with challenges, with people who are struggling to navigate their way through the industry. So I'm that source of support in that navigation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that made
Perfect
a lot of
sense.
sense.
Ivan, are these also on are these audio books as well, or are they just hard copies?
All of my books are available, paper, digital, and audio, except one. IvanZoot.com for all the paper books and all the digital books. Amazon is paper only, but there's only one book. Pricing Playbook is not available as an audio book, and that's because this one is a unique format. If you flip through this book, you'll notice there's lots of empty spaces, because you're going to plug in your numbers, your data, the information of your business, and you're going to work through formulas. So I have it as a digital, but because of that fill in the blanks workbook nature, it doesn't lend itself to an audio book, but everything else is available audio. And on the subject of audio, I'll also throw out there, January 15th, I'm launching my new, updated, and improved online academy platform. Nothing technical. It's all business building for barbers and cosmetologists focusing on men's hair and in our industry. But what's unique about the academy, because I had a previous academy that we're folding up that academy, and we're launching a brand new platform on an entirely new server and service. This academy is all audio based. So any device, anywhere, anytime, in your ears, in your your car, on the treadmill at the gym, wherever you want to be, learn at your own pace. My previous academy was what was called a drip system, where you got new content every month. Well, this new academy is not drip based. You can eat as much information as you want at the speed that you want. So if you go to any of my profiles on Instagram or Threads or anywhere, and the link is I'm gonna start sharing the link far and wide, but we'll give your listeners, kind of a sneak preview opportunity. The link for my academy is live and it's there, and you can sign up. It's very inexpensive. You get 7 days free to try it out, to make sure you like it before you have to pay. There's a very small monthly fee. My monthly fee is less than half the average price of a haircut in the United States of America today.
So there you have it, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. Ivan Zoot at his finest. I like what you said, and I want to give honor to the program that you're releasing as well for the barber and the beauty space. Are you focused on barbers specifically, or beauty and barbers?
I'm glad you asked that, and I'm going to give you a very, very honest answer. And my answer is, my information is good for everyone and anyone that wants to build their business in haircutting, whether you're a cos or a barber, and whether you're in a barber shop or a salon. Primarily, my focus speaks to the men's industry, as you well know, but here's what I'm going to answer your question. My most successful relationships, meaning the people who've built the most business working with me, my coaching clients, my mentoring clients, the greatest number of people who've had the greatest success with me, my sweet spot tends to be female cosmetologists who are engaged in men's grooming. And the reason for that is, unfortunately, the barber industry has for way too long had an attitude that they already know everything they need to know. And they're not nearly as open to and receptive to help and coaching and support. Sometimes it's a guy's ego thing. It's a male gender thing sometimes. And truth of the matter is, I believe I could be much more helpful to many, many more barbers, but far too few of them, they come to a show, at a show, cosmetologists come in the classroom, they sit in the classroom and they take notes. Barbers come to a show, they walk around on the floor and they buy another clipper.
It's so crazy that you mentioned that.
I can't help you if you won't let me.
So many people don't realize. I remember you were saying this at I think I heard you say it at the Las Vegas Barber Expo that I
probably said it at every expo.
But you said that you're gonna learn far more that will help you make more money if you go to the education classes versus the classes that are teaching you how to cut hair better. You're like, that's good that you want to get your blending techniques better, or you want to use this new enhancement. That's cute. But if you understand business better, then you will be able to make more money. And that's what this is. This is a business. You have a
barber who's got 17 clippers, spent $200 on clipper number 18, but he doesn't spend $25 on a business book.
Education.
It's so important that you understand that like when we were talking about limits earlier, Ivan, so many people misunderstand the fact that time is a limit. Time is a limit, right? Then you also going to have your energy. Your energy is going to be a limit to you, and as well as your body. Your body is also going to be a limit to you. So if you are only focused on what you can do with your body and the time that you have to spend it, then you're going to be limited in how much money you can make. That's why when Ivan was talking about selling is not selling, but it's really telling. When you're able to start to tell the things that you need to tell so that someone can find value in whatever it is that you may have, then you'll start to learn how to make money without having to work. And you can do that in so many different ways if you tap into that part of your mind. But if you never unlock that and you always are focused on how to fade somebody, then you always going to focus on how to be financially capped. But you have to focus on how to uncap yourself and use your mind to create some money for yourself.
I'll predict, I'm launching that new academy at the Midwest Barber Expo coming up in Chicago, the 21st. I'm launching it the 15th, but we're gonna be talking about it on the 21st in Chicago. I'll come back on your program next January, and at the end of a year, I will predict that for every barber who is an active member of my academy, I will have 3 female cosmetologists in my academy. For every barber, I'll have 3 female cos that are doing men's hair, that are kicking butt, taking names, and making money.
That's right.
3 to 1. I'll bet you 3 to 1.
All right, we're gonna see. We're gonna get you back on here January 2025, Elevated Barbers Podcast. We still gonna be alive. All right.
And in between there, we got to get them back on the show.
Yeah.
I'll be happy to jump on with you guys any chance I get. I appreciate the invitation. It's always fun to sit down with people in our business that take our business seriously, and that want to be a positive influence on who we are and what we do. So I appreciate you guys. I watched an episode the other day, kind of in preparation to go, hey, what are these guys talking about? What's the feel? What are they talking about? So I want to make sure I fit in.
Oh man, you always fit in, man. You always fit in.
Yeah. Now I agree with everything you and Ivan just said, Bradford, because your body is only gonna last so long in this industry. You can only learn how to fade so much, but you can never stop retaining knowledge. You could, as much knowledge as you can get from this industry, because you're only gonna be behind the chair for so long. Like, you don't want to be one of those barbers who are stuck behind the chair for 60 years and you don't have a way out. Like, I'm 35, about to be 36 in a few months, and I am constantly working on trying to get a way out this industry. Not that I don't want to keep cutting hair, because I love cutting hair, but I don't want to be stuck to it. I don't want to be tied down to it. I don't want it to be, I have to cut hair. I want to be making money doing other things as well. Most likely in this industry, I would like to make money in this industry, but I don't want it to be just because I'm pushing out fades. It got to come from somewhere else.
What's your thoughts on that, Ivan?
Yeah, you know what? There are guys who just want to work behind the chair, and it's noble. Dedicating your life and your career to a service to others by way of what we do in this business is a honorable and noble business and profession. You got to take care of yourself. I always say you got an expiration date. You're like a gallon of milk or a chicken breast on a foam tray wrapped in plastic at the grocery store. You got an expiration date. You only got so many haircuts in you, so you got to be healthy. You got to eat good. You got to exercise. You got to sleep. You got to cut out the drinking, and you got to get rid of the drugs, and you got to, you just got to live smart so that you can live long. I got a brand new grandbaby. All right. I'm a grandpa for the first time. You know what? I love to cut hair. I love to go to hair shows. I'd rather just go play with the kid. But you're going to get to that point. That's going to happen in life. If you do the right things and you take care of yourself and you get there. There are opportunities. There's everything from education to products to various streams of passive income. There's so much that you can build on with this industry. And podcasts like this and conversations like these are the way you shed light on some of those things that you can continue learning and growing and figuring out what your personal path is going to be all about.
Yeah. And I think taking a look at your personal path is so key. So many people, and I'm sure you've ran into this so many times, Ivan, with some of your students or just some of the barbers that you may speak to, is they don't really have a goal in their mind about what they're trying to use this for, use these.
We have an industry that traditionally believes that long-term planning is, where are we going out on Thursday night?
Yeah, it's so many barbers, like really specifically barbers. Like when I speak to cosmetology students, they do typically have some foresight of where they're trying to take this, but a lot of barbers are limited in how far they see their future. The biggest focus is, I want to be booked. That's the biggest focus.
I mean, we're not going to solve all these things today, but I think we have to recognize some of these things are generational. Some of these things are cultural. Some of these things are environmental. And I think the good work of having these conversations, using successful people as examples of what, and talking about what those journeys look like, and how people got there, can be very instructional, very informative for folks as they attempt to chart their path and things here. Now, I know you guys got to wrap this up. I'm looking at the clock here because I've got to get in the car. We got some weather coming, and I got to be at a meeting. But how are we going to wrap this up? How do you want to put a bow on this tonight?
Man, I think that I think that we should just allow you to share one more prediction for 2024. Yeah. Share one more prediction for 2024, and then we'll let you out the door.
All right. My second prediction for 2024 is I'm going to predict that people that participate in this Elevated Barber podcast on average are going to make more money next year. They're going to come talk to me at shows. They're going to buy a book, and they're going to raise their game because this podcast has served as an opportunity to facilitate that. How's that for a prediction?
That's one of the best predictions I've heard of. I'm with that. They go buy a program. They go buy a book. They might get a comb, step their game up, learn how to just change their life.
Because they're here. Because they're part of what you guys are building, because they recognize the value in it.
Absolutely. And that's what we're doing here at Elevated Barbers Podcast. We are literally trying to become a platform that helps to elevate the barber game, and any cosmetologists or any business people that tap in and want to just learn. This is what we do. We elevate everybody, but our focus is barbers. So Delmar, I'm gonna let you go ahead and close us out, man. What you got to say?
Man, this was beautiful. Ivan Zoot, you were more than welcome to come back on Elevated Barbers. Wait, I'm sorry, I forgot his nickname. Ivan the Flash Zoot.
Yeah.
You're more than welcome to come back on Elevated Barbers at any time. I had a chance to meet you at Bradford's first class on Zoom. This was back in 2021, I believe, Brad.
Yeah, 2021.
Yeah, and Ivan just has so much. He's a wealth of knowledge. He's a deep well. He's an awesome guest on our show, and we just appreciate you taking time out your busy schedule to be a part of our platform.
Thank you guys so much. We'll do this again.
Absolutely.
Yes, I got one request before you leave. Whenever we drop the videos, I'm gonna invite you as a collaborator. I just ask that you accept.
Oh, you know what? Absolutely. If you've got a URL for it, send it to me and I'll share it in all my channels. That's a given. I am here to help you guys grow what you're doing, and by giving me the opportunity to be a guest on your platform, it's good for my business as well. That's how we help one another. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
Yep, elevating each other. All right, you all. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of Elevated Barbers Podcast. We are here with Ivan Zoot, wishing you well, and we will see you next week.
Peace.
1, 2, 3, 4.